Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Good evening. My name is Nikki Donaldson, and I am the principal of the Junior-Senior High School. I want to welcome you all to tonight's commencement ceremony. It is with great pride that I present to you the senior class. We all wish we were on the turf with our traditional graduation ceremony this evening. High school graduation is a big deal. It's important. And for many decades, we've celebrated it in the same formal way, with pomp and circumstance, speeches, and the presentation of diplomas. We want the day to be distinct, unmistakable, and linked to countless ceremonies of the past. No matter how many graduations I attend, when pomp and circumstance begins playing and the line of graduates finally begins that last long walk as high school students, I feel a swell of pride and find myself on the verge of tears. But you won't get to have that very special event, 13 years in the making. Why not? Because history found you. An event that will change the way we live was sweeping around the globe, and it found you. As your long, strange break from the building was extended week after week, the truth began to settle in. You were never going back to high school. Not as a student, anyway. That part of your life had ended, and you never got to say goodbye to it. But you didn't give up. You kept going, and now in this strange situation, you have become General Brown High School graduates. And we are grateful, because we need you. You are about to change the world. I know this, because you have changed us. You remind us to live in the present. You lose track of time, and you don't care. You have grown up in the blink of an eye and have taught us that time is precious. Don't waste it worrying about things you can't control. You teach us about love. You feel intensely, and you show us that it takes courage to be vulnerable. When you experience loss, lean into the pain and embrace it. It will make you stronger. You are accepting of differences. More than any other generation, you understand that diversity enriches and that our humanity connects us. Keep your minds and hearts open. You sing, dance, and play. You remind us to live without fear of judgment. Don't ever let the voices of critics diminish you. You don't take life too seriously. Your laughter makes us smile and takes us back to a more carefree time. Forgive yourself when you make a mistake, and do the same for others. It will free you. You speak your mind. You use your voice, and you demand to be heard. You challenge us to stand up for what we believe in. Act courageously, and never be silenced. You have changed us for the better, and we are proud of who you are now and who you are destined to become. Class of 2020, we are so proud of you and cannot wait to see what lies ahead for each of you. Congratulations.
The General Brown Central School District's heritage has a strong military influence. Essentially, we are the namesake of General Jacob Jennings Brown, an Army officer of the War of 1812, who was appointed Commanding General of the United States Army in 1821. Our region has daily reminders of the influences of General Brown and his family, and our community celebrates a strong sense of tradition between generations. The influence of the military on our district is valued as well. At this time, rather than giving words of advice from my perspective, I felt it was important to recognize the significance of the military on the General Brown community. Typically, I would ask different groups to rise and stay standing throughout the presentation so that we could truly visualize the impact of the military on our community. However, I think that we all can attest that 2020 has been anything but typical. Nonetheless, we know the significance of the military families on our community, and we firmly believe they deserve our recognition. First, I'd like to recognize the graduating seniors who have committed to serving in the military. Keith Carroll plans to serve in the United States Marine Corps. Tristan Gagne plans to serve in the United States Air Force. Jacob Cole plans to join the military, and Giovanni Orchesi will be attending the United States Merchant Marine Academy and plans to serve in the United States Navy. You all are embarking on a selfless journey to serve our country. Thank you for your commitment and service. Next, I'd like to honor the graduating seniors who are children of active soldiers. Madison Lesher's father is active duty in the United States Army. Angela Merriman's father is active duty in the United States Army. And Zachary Miller's father is active duty in the New York Air National Guard. First, to those parents currently serving our country, thank you for your service. To the children, you all have come from many parts of the United States and the world. You probably have attended many schools, and with each PCS, you are asked to make new friends and a new home along the way. In addition, you probably had your parent deployed or training elsewhere at some point during your educational experience. Despite these challenges, you have brought experiences and cultures that have enriched the General Brown community. Thank you for all you have sacrificed as a family, and thank you for adding to our community. Finally, I'd like to recognize the seniors who are children of veterans who have served or retired from the military. Not only is Giovanni Orchesi committing to serve in the Navy, his father retired from the United States Army, and his mother is a veteran of the United States Army. Keith Carroll is also continuing a family military tradition. His father retired from the United States Army. In addition to her father's active service, Angela Merriman's mother is medically retired from the United States Army, and her stepmother is medically retired from the United States Army. Nick Latham's father retired from the United States Army, and Robbie Hunter's stepfather retired from the United States Army. First, to our veterans, thank you for your commitment and service to our country. And thank you for supporting your children and all the children of the General Brown Central School District. To our graduates, your parents have helped shape who you are, along with the core values that will continue to guide you through life. As you expand your life experiences beyond General Brown, remember to carry those values with you to honor their commitment of supporting you, your family, and our country. If we look among us, it becomes clear that the influence of the military transcends beyond what most of us could have imagined. We know that about 13% of our student population at General Brown is associated with the military and civilians attached to the military. However, numbers and data can't possibly capture the true impact you all have on our district. I believe General Jacob Brown would be proud of his namesake. His influence was memorialized with these words: "Sacred to the memory of Major General Jacob Brown, by birth, by education, by principle, devoted to peace. In defense of his country and in vindication of her rights, a warrior. To her, he dedicated his life. For those recognized today, please accept our deep appreciation for your commitment to the military and, more importantly, for joining our school community. And to the seniors graduating today, I'd like to think that General Jacob Brown is proud to be a lion alongside you. Congratulations.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to welcome students, families, friends, and esteemed faculty to the General Brown Class of 2020 graduation. Every one of you has made an impact on each graduate here today. This is a very emotional time, and I consider myself somewhat of an emotional person. I got teary-eyed just writing this, so I'll try my best to contain myself until I can cry in the car when this is over. At the beginning of the school year, I was told I would be giving a commencement speech as class president. Just the thought of standing in front of everyone I had known made me nervous. Today, I would do anything to be able to deliver this speech on the turf, looking at you with my classmates seated next to me. Dr. Seuss once said, "Sometimes you will never know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory." I'm sure many of you have heard this quote before, but its meaning did not resonate with me until now. We have lost a lot of time, rites of passage, and a sense of closure that we anticipated from our last year here at General Brown, but we have gained many valuable memories that cannot be taken away. March 12, 2020. It was a typical Thursday at school that became a moment that my classmates will remember for a long time. I, however, may not remember it as my final school day of my high school career since I was absent. Thank you, Mom, for scheduling such a poorly timed doctor's appointment on that day. No one expected that Thursday would be the last day that we would ever walk the halls of General Brown together as seniors, childhood friends, and classmates. Each one of us has said at some point that we could not wait to leave high school and to graduate. So many of us would recant that statement and would love the opportunity to regain the time as seniors in our high school to go to prom, to have senior breakfast, and a class trip. If we could do over our last days in school, knowing it was our last days, maybe we would do things a lot differently and cherish those days. This year, our class was shown the true meaning of the phrase carpe diem, seize the day. I'd like to talk a little bit about our class. It is safe to say this class is a well-rounded group of students. From our all-star 3-sport athletes to our scholars, we are a very accomplished group. A big part of high school is the sporting events. Whether it is going to a football game under those Friday night lights or blowing up the student section at basketball games. These are moments that we will hold on to and look back on fondly throughout our lives. Many of us will join other General Brown alumni here next year to watch our underclassmen play and take some part in their trials and tribulations. We had a pretty successful year through our sports seasons. Our boys soccer team made GB history, having the best record to date and claiming the first seed in sectionals. We were not the most mature squad, and we were probably not the most skilled. But that connection that we had with each other and our coaches is what made us achieve great things. From the practices, where we goofed off a little too much and didn't take anything seriously, to game day, when we pulled it together and played like all-stars. That made our team what it could be. I would bring up how that ended, but I'm sure we're all sad enough. Our basketball team made it to the Final Four for the second year in a row, which effectively silenced all the haters who said we would not make it after losing our 4 starting seniors from the previous year. I would like to give a sincere apology to my classmates who lost their only season this year. You never got a senior night, which everyone deserves. Each spring team had a lot of potential this year, and I'm very sad to see it unfulfilled. Keep your heads up. Life has a lot to offer you. Good things will come to those who wait. I'm very proud of the things our class has done over these past few months in this unprecedented time. We know that we were not a very motivated class, as evident by our bank account. Our class bank account had barely any money in it until this past year. When we came to the realization that we needed to work to fund a big prom, senior trip, or anything else that we want for our last year, we did it. Now I'm aware that none of those things ultimately happened, but we showed our school and our community that we could come together, take charge, and be responsible. We could be adults. Senior year is about getting ready for the real world and moving forward into adulthood. During this pandemic, we all came together and united as a class. To some, it may have seemed like we did not care, but when we were told on March 12th that school was closed and then later we would not be returning, we all knew that our senior year would be on our shoulders. I watched some of my classmates, who I would not have expected to be involved, get involved in finding ways to make our graduation and the rest of the year as normal as possible. I'm very proud of our class. And although some of us have had our differences, I know that we would not trade this for anything in the world. I would not want to be part of any other group of classmates and friends. I'm very excited to come back here 10, 20 years from now to see how successful we've all become. I would like to acknowledge some people that have made our years at General Brown special. First of all, I would like to thank our teachers and coaches. I'm sure we all have our favorite and least favorites, and I'm sure the teachers and coaches also have their favorite students as well, whether or not they would like to admit it. We were taught discipline, leadership, teamwork, and a strong work ethic. These qualities will help carry us through all aspects of our lives. I would also like to thank those who put their title of teacher and coach aside, so that their students and players feel comfortable coming to them with personal issues. You treated us like family. We, in turn, saw you all as family. To our parents, we cannot thank you all enough. When all of this started, I thought I was going to lose my mind, and I'm sure the rest of the class can agree. The amount of time, dedication, and hard work you all put into making us happy is incredible. You have all succeeded in making us feel important and letting us know that everything is going to be okay, even when we had almost reached our lowest point. You all came together as a community to create amazing gifts, parades, signs, and so much more. We always knew that you were there for us. We now all know how much each of you really care for all of us. It was not just about your own kids, but also your kids' friends and classmates. You have guided us this far in life. You have made us the people we are today. We thank you all so much. We really could not ask for more. And lastly, I'd like to thank my classmates. Most of us have been together for 13 long years. It's crazy to see how much we have changed. I remember kindergarten and elementary school like it was just yesterday. I have so many memories, like the time Caleb and I got into a fight in 3rd grade over a game of mini hockey with Jenga sticks because he thought I cheated, which to this day, I know I didn't. And after all those years, we became good friends. I remember playing football and kickball at recess. Sometimes I feel like that was more competitive than our varsity team. I remember the nice little Zach Miller who got his name written in the notebook for humming in class and had to sit out for recess. I remember the first day of 2nd grade when I cried and cried because I didn't know we were supposed to get on to go home. I remember nap time in kindergarten, sleeping on those little towels on the floor. I still remember how uncomfortable it was. I remember the first day of 7th grade when all the Brownville and Dexter kids finally met. We were all strangers, and now we know each other so well. I remember it all. And now, here we are, graduating. Time does fly. In the blink of an eye, we all met each other for the first time, and now we're all here together one last time. So to the class of 2020, we were born after 9/11, and we graduate in a pandemic. We're special, and we'll do great things. I'm proud to be part of such a great class. And to our underclassmen, make the most of your years in high school, because once it's over, you can't get it back. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I am Dylan Rassi, the Vice President of the Class of 2020. It is a privilege to introduce this year's Salutatorian. I have had the pleasure of knowing this year's Salutatorian for several years. Though Zach is a smart student, one cannot deny his work ethic, which he possesses. He not only studies hard himself, he elevates his classmates through helping them study. I took AP Biology this year, and on several occasions, I would get a text in the middle of the day with a study guide, not made by the school, but by Zach. Zach has taken the hardest classes all the way up through, whether it be AP Bio or pre-calculus and calculus. And yet he still maintained the second highest GPA in the class. Zach is not only a good student, he is involved in many activities. He was a member of this year's Frontier League Championship soccer team. The last 2 years, he has helped as an editor and photographer for the yearbook. He has been in an international club since 8th grade. He has been in Honor Society since 10th grade and was an officer this year. He was nominated by Mrs. Rose to attend Johns Hopkins for an Ambassador Leaders Medical Summit. There he was CPR, AED, and Stop the Bleed certified. After high school, he plans to attend Loyola University, Maryland, to major in chemistry on the pre-dental path and plans to become a general dentist. Zach, you will have my dental business, and I, along with the rest of the class, wish you the best. So without further ado, I would like to present your 2020 salutatorian, Zach Long.
Good evening, everyone. For those of you who never had the privilege to get to know me, my name is Zach Mullimore, and I somehow managed to be the class of 2020 Salutatorian. You can imagine I'm very surprised I did this while in school. And you'd be right. 5 years, 9 months, and 23 days, or exactly 2,123 days ago, I stepped foot in the walls of this building for the first time as a high school student. I did not come in with much self-esteem since I was designated at risk for being overweight at my physical the previous summer. I also happened to have the arrogance of a 12-year-old who thought that having a 96% average was the equivalent of knowing everything in order to mask the fragile self-confidence I had. All it ever took was one little mistake for me to look in the mirror and imagine the word failure written on my forehead. However, that all began to change once I truly began to learn. During my time at General Brown, I did play soccer from grades 7 to 12. I'll be the first to admit, I was not the greatest. It would be pretty normal to find me make at least 3 to 4 mistakes in practice. I could stand here and regretfully say that I wish I started young so I had more experience. But I cannot change the past. I can, however, be glad for what it shaped me to become. Sure, I may have screwed up on multiple occasions, but you have to realize the normality of mistakes. For every 3 to 4 mistakes I made, someone easily made 7 to 8. Soccer is a fast-paced game. You can either dwell on the past and allow the other team to score. On the other hand, you can learn from it, move on, and win the game. I will say that playing the sport has provided me with much nostalgia, especially after all the accomplishments this team made this year. #1 ranked team in Section 3 Class B, best record in the program's history, and a plethora of historic records we made together. The season may have ended in heartbreak, but we have to appreciate what it taught us. Camaraderie, perseverance, and most of all, there's always a time in life to have a little bit of fun. Much of the knowledge I have gained over the years has been from taking chances, like playing soccer. We may not know the outcome that will result, but each of us needs to enter the unknown every once in a while. As previously mentioned by Dylan, I was nominated by my Algebra 2 teacher, Mrs. Rose, to attend the Ambassador Leaders Program. What this program does is take exemplary students from all over the world and teach them to become leaders. I was the only person from this part of New York State that attended the program, and it was difficult to have to explain to everyone, no, I am from the other part of New York. In the days I was in Baltimore, I learned tons of interesting things. Of course, becoming CPR, AED, and Stop-the-Bleed certified is crucial because of the increasing prevalence of violence in humanity. But the program taught me more than just medical skills, and it's this. No matter how much you may feel that you need to act differently in order to have that sense of belonging in life, there are people in this world that will love and accept you for who you truly are. Furthermore, if you wish to take the chance to change your life, but are afraid of the consequences, don't think of the subsequent fall. Think of the flight as you soar towards happiness. Without being able to learn, I would never have been able to accept myself for who I am. Gaining knowledge gives me the humility to see my flaws and say, I'm ugly and I'm proud, as a certain someone might put it. The path it has taken for me to learn this much has granted me more in life than it could ever hurt me. Because even though I may not have the most functional family in the world, live in the most memorable part of New York, or be the most attractive person here, I live a happy life. I'm happy to have lifelong friends thousands of miles away who are willing to listen to me rant about the dumbest things at 2 in the morning. I am happy to have a big family that can laugh at each other when we think that Chicago is in Detroit, or spoil our dinners over special dinner conversations. I am happy to have a twin that let me be this work twin. Thank you, Daddy. I am happy to have been educated at a school with students who made my experience here a wonderful ride, and by teachers who went the extra mile because they never gave up on their students. Most of all, I'm happy that I have grown into an 18-year-old who's no longer afraid of making mistakes and is mature enough to accept, I really don't know everything. I no longer look in the mirror and see the word failure written on my forehead, because deep down, I know I finally learned. Thank you.
Today, I have the pleasure of thanking our class advisors, Ms. Stevens and Ms. Nieves. The class of 2020 has had its fair share of advisors, and although we appreciate everyone who spent any amount of time in that position, we give an extra thanks to you two for sticking it out to the end when we need you guys the most. Thank you for hearing us and working with us these last couple of years. Despite not being able to have a senior trip, even the thought of one wouldn't have been possible without you guys. Ms. Stevens and Ms. Nieves, on behalf of the class of 2020, I thank you. On behalf of the class of 2020, we would like to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. With a special thanks to our Board of Education and the President, Dr. Sandra Young-Clint. As a token of our appreciation, we would like to give 2 blessing boxes. They will be placed at the elementary schools and will be kept full of non-perishable food items, and anyone who is in need may visit the box. Please accept our gratitude in this parting gift. Thank you.
Peter Harville is one of the most hardworking people I know. Over the years, he has not let any hardships get in the way of achieving his goals. Not many people have achieved as much as Peter has over the years. He has been an active member in the school sports and music departments, while maintaining incredible diligence in his studies and participating in several clubs and extracurriculars. He is the definition of perseverance. It is my pleasure to introduce this year's valedictorian, Peter Harville.
This is a story about my good friend Anonymous and I. Anonymous once told me, "Follow your heart and you will be happy." So I crawled into bed that night and thought about their advice. I closed my eyes and thought, Peter, what is it that you want in your heart? What will it take in order to be happy? And then, it came to me. In the silence of my room, it came to me. I realized what my heart wanted, and all I had to do was sit and listen. When I figured out what my heart wanted, I followed it. And I was happy. Forever. The end. Now, isn't that the stupidest thing you've ever heard? Here's what really happened. Anonymous told me, follow your heart, and you'll be happy. So I crawled into bed that night and thought about their advice. I closed my eyes and thought, Peter, what is it that you want in your heart? What will it take in order to be happy? Sleep. So I slept, and then I woke up in the morning, tormented by the same question. Peter, what is it that you want in your heart? What will it take in order to be happy? Those questions tormented me all day in school, in the car, at the gym, and at home, until finally, after hours of tossing and turning in my bed, sleep. My heart and I were never very good at communicating with one another. Whenever I would ask, hey heart, what is it that you want? It would always reply, was sweet, Buxin Han. Now, if you thought to yourself, what the heck is he saying? Now you know exactly how confusing it is for me to listen to my heart. What I just said is Chinese for, shut up, you're a man who lost his heart. In China, that phrase, a man who lost his heart, is used to describe a man who cheated on his wife. But in the context of this graduation speech, it literally means that I had lost touch with my own heart. So, I went back to Anonymous and complained, I can't follow my heart because I don't know what my heart wants. How did I lose touch with myself? But Anonymous told me, life is not about finding yourself, it's about creating yourself. So, I crawled into bed that night and thought about their advice. I closed my eyes and thought, Peter, what are you going to create? Who are you going to be? And it came to me. I was going to go to school, and I was going to be the best me I could be. I was going to listen, speak, feel, and see. I came here to learn, and that's what I'll do. I'll be patient, responsible, helpful, and true. I'll be kind to others inside and out because lion pride is what I'm about. All the kids thought I was the most coolest, interesting kid alive. And I was happy. Forever. The end. Now, isn't that pathetic? Here's what really happened. Anonymous told me, life is not about finding yourself, it's about creating yourself. So I decided to create myself. I was going to go to school and be the best me I could be. I was going to be good at everything in school. Always do your best, right? Wrong. Turns out doing your best causes a lot of stress. But I was going to listen, speak, feel, and see. Turns out, when you're trying to do your best, you become self-absorbed and you push people away. But I wasn't worried about friends in school, right? I came here to learn and that's what I'll do. Well, believe it or not, school got in the way of my education. And I failed the most important lesson in life. I'm very bad at socializing. But I'll be patient, responsible, helpful, and true. Come on. I'm a kid. I'm not an adult yet. I don't want to do that stuff. I'll be kind to others, inside and out, because lion pride is what I'm about. I tried kindness. I treated others the way I wanted to be treated. But here's the hard truth. People don't always treat you as kindly as you treat them. You can't go into every room dealing out kindness and expecting it in return. Yeah, I did the best I could. I'm successful. I did really good in school. But I still feel empty. So I went back to Anonymous, slightly annoyed that their advice wasn't helping me. I told them I created a boy who was good at everything except being happy. For God's sake, I just want to be happy. I don't know what my heart wants. I don't know how to create myself. I have no idea what I'm doing. Then Anonymous told me, happiness is a journey, not a destination. So I crawled into bed that night, thought about their advice, I closed my eyes and thought, Peter, what if you just stopped worrying about things? What if you just let yourself go and see where life takes you? It came to me. I stopped worrying about school, stopped worrying about being a good lacrosse player, stopped worrying about the future. I let everything go until I was a nobody. No job, no school, no cares whatsoever. And soon, I found out I was only doing the things I wanted, the things that made me happy. And I was happy. Forever. The end. Yeah, right. Here's what really happened. Anonymous told me happiness is a journey, not a destination. So I accepted that happiness would just find me eventually. I started to put minimum effort into school. I stopped worrying about lacrosse. I stopped having any interest in my future. All I did was write music, take runs, and watch Grey's Anatomy until 4 o'clock in the morning. Although these things did make me temporarily happy, I felt like I was wasting time. When I would sit on the couch, not a second would go by, where I wouldn't worry about homework, or researching my future, or researching my intended major. Optical engineering. What even is that? The thought of doing anything productive caused me nothing but stress, and doing anything unproductive caused me even more stress. It was a vicious cycle. It seemed like no matter what I did, I was just doomed to live an unhappy life. So I went back to Anonymous, and I'm furious. I cannot just go with the flow. I cannot create myself. And I cannot follow my own heart. Nothing you say is helping me to be happy. How am I supposed to go on living if I can't be happy? This time, Anonymous did not give me some canned advice for how to be happy. You really thought what I had to say was going to make you happy, Anonymous said. I ought to slap you silly. Nothing I ever said made you happy, because nothing I say will ever make you happy. I can tell you what you want to hear. My words are sweet, but they will never eliminate your fear. Your father, your mother, your sister, your brother, your saluta, and valedictorians, they can only give you all this sweet advice in the world. But in the end, none of it will make you happy. Life is a forest, and you're standing at the edge, where the plains of childhood meet the trees of adulthood. Life is a forest, and nobody makes it out alive. And nobody is going to blaze a trail of happiness with cheap advice. Life is a forest. There are no trails, period. You just walk in, and you never walk out. But here's the good news. You're ready. You were born ready. No, nothing I say or do, nothing your friends say or do, nothing your family say or do will make the journey into the woods paradise. You will not find paradise with your friends, at work, at a party, in nature. Go ahead, keep on searching. But this forest is enormous, and it will not give you an ounce of paradise. You want to find paradise? Try looking in the mirror, between your eyes, behind your head. That is the road to paradise. And likewise, the road to ruin. See that person in the mirror? They have all the answers. Your friends, your family, they can hold your hand. But only you know the way to paradise. You already have the answers. You are ready. The moment you were born, you cried because you were cold and you wanted your mother and the lights were too bright. But you knew what you wanted. And deep down inside, you will always know what you want. You will always know what you need to be happy. The reason it's so hard to find paradise is because you've been knocked around by people who don't like you, knocked around by your family, knocked around by social media, knocked around by high school where they teach you that being yourself isn't good enough and that you have to fit into some mold. You've been knocked around so much, you doubt you could ever find paradise. But doubt will knock you around harder than any bully you'll ever meet. You are good enough. You do have what it takes to find paradise. You deserve to find paradise. You may be in denial about that, but that's okay. Just keep trudging through that forest. I cannot tell you how you'll find that paradise, but I'll tell you when you do, you'll feel amazing. You won't even expect it when you find it, but you will trip right over it. You've been alone for almost a quarter of a year, and you're still standing. You may be in pain, but you're still standing. Keep standing. You'll find it. Forget about the mold. Forget about trying to fit in. You are resilient. You are brilliant enough. Don't worry about the kids in school who make fun of your race, your gender, or your sexual orientation. You're better than that. This quarantine sucks. It's okay that you hate living with yourself all alone. But I hope from this quarantine you realize that when everything in life falls apart, all you got is you. When you take away all the noise in the world, the only thing you can hear is the beating of your own heart. And it's scary. Maybe before the quarantine, your everyday life was just a distraction from the fact that you don't know how to live with yourself. You don't know how to be alone. But now you are alone. Did you realize that there are things that you miss and things that you don't miss from everyday life? When they set you free, don't bother going back to the things that you don't miss. Go after the things you do miss. Maybe the things that you do miss are the things that you want in your heart. And maybe if you follow those things that you want in your heart, you will be happy. Maybe this quarantine will help you find paradise. Maybe it's impossible to imagine that right now because you're in pain and you're suffering. But listen to what your heart wants. What does it want? It wants to be out. It wants to be free. What do you miss? That's what you need to go after. Don't waste your time on the things that you could care less about, the things you've forgotten. When you take away all the noise in the world, all you're left with is the beating of your heart. It's scary. Maybe you don't know what your heart wants, but your heart is all you need. On behalf of the class of 2020, congratulations. Stay healthy. Stay 6 feet apart.
Peter Thomas Harville. Zachary T. Longamore. Peyton Elberson. Allison Avery Amel. Brian Backus. Ian J. Beckstead. Mariah M. Bennett. Gabriel J. Bernier. Joshua Ray Bickham. Jamie L. Biggers. Willow Sumara Boyce. Shauna Lynn Bush. Robert Keith Carroll Jr.
got it.
Kelsey P. Case. Mariah Lee Caster. Alexis R. Christopher. Davin Clark. Timothy L. Clement.
I can't even see. Congratulations. Yay.
Jacob Elias Christian Cole.
Yay, Jacob! Woo! Yay!
Ashley T. Collins.
Go, Ashley!
Maria J. Covey. Riley M. Cronk. Caden M. Crosby. Cameron Lyle Dean. Lauren Page Devine. Madison G. Dillenbeck.
Yay! Woo!
Elizabeth A. Dingman.
Ow! Wait a minute, we got clap.
Shaylee M. Feistema.
Yay! All right, yay, girl. Woo! All right, baby. Yay!
Avery E. Fields. Tyler M. Fisk.
There we go. Please take those pictures. Yay!
Riley C. Foley. Jasmine M. Frost.
Thank you.
Brenda L. Furchek. Tristan Gagne. Riley L. Ganter. John W. Galt, Jr.
Did everybody get the name on video? No, I didn't.
Nicholas W. Halliday.
Yeah.
J. Harry. Cora M. Hart. Alicia M. Holloway. Kristen M. Hosmer. Gavin M. House. Hayden E. Hunt. Robert L. Hunter. Caleb W. Johnson. Gavin N. King. Emma R. Kittle. Chloe Alyssa Kruger. Nicholas Richard Latham. If you want to recapture.
Oh my God, yes.
Now let's hope all the things. Nicole J. Lee. Nicholas M. Lennox. Madison E. Lesher. Madison P. Longamore. Angela D. Merriam.
Atta girl! That's my baby!
Elise L. Merriam. David K. Martin.
Pretty good.
Marissa M. Massey. Jared L. Matuziak. Jenna P. McIntosh. Kaylin Rose McManaman. Lars Michael Mercer. Zachary T. Miller. Jasmine J. Mills. Gabrielle Rita Sasseline Mincer. Devin M. Monica. Jesse D. Moreno. Christopher A. Munson. Giovanni, Antonio, or Chessie? Devin X. Ostrom. Sydney R. Parisian. Sophia R. Perkins. Storm N. Quinones. Dylan T. Rasley.
That's what I thought.
Janella S. Robinson.
Congratulations, Jenny.
Luke A. Romano. Sierra L. Safe. Vincent T. Sheen. Corey Michael Smith.
Yay!
I'm just recording. I'm always good. Yay!
Emily Rose Snyder.
Yay!
Robert Snyder.
Congratulations, Robert.
Connor M. St. John. Gavin R. Stevenson.
There we go.
Yep, and you walk your way across. If Mom wants to take more pictures of you. Garrett J. Sykes. Paige M. Tanner. Colton M. Thompson. Benjamin A. M. Thompson. Deshaun M. Thorville Brown. Hunter L. Tyfair. Abigail C. Valentine. Marissa Valvo. Shiloh A. Washer. Caitlin L. Wildman.
Go ahead.